Welcome to our tutorial on creating reports with the Reports add-on. Jmix is a full-stack open-source platform built on top of Spring Boot and Vaadin. It also provides a set of add-ons with out-of-the-box solutions that you can use in your application or as a separate service. Today, we'll focus on the Reports add-on to help end users generate reports through customizable templates. We'll install our report solution into a sample application to demonstrate how to create report configurations, how to customize our reports as admins, and allow end users to generate printable forms. Let's get started. To follow along, you can clone the sample application from the GitHub repository in the description below. Among others, the application contains two main entities, user and department. The user entity will include the department ID, establishing a many-to-one relationship with the department entity. To store the user's documents, we'll add a third entity called document, with a many-to-one relationship to user. We'll also create its views. Let's launch the application and see how it looks like. As we can see, it already has views to manage users, departments, and documents. What we want to do next is add the reports functionality. For that, we'll need to download the Reports add-on. We'll go to the marketplace, find the add-on, and click on the install button. When it's successfully added, we can relaunch the application. The installation will add the required Gradle dependencies and automatically include its corresponding functionality. In this video, we'll only focus on two report views: reports for creating reports and run reports for generating output documents. Assume we want to create a report to view all the users in the application. Jmix allows us to create reports from scratch or following a wizard. In this tutorial, we'll use the latter. The wizard's first step is to select the entity we want to fetch data from. Select the template format of our report, name the report template we're creating, and choose what data it will include. Since we want to see all users except for the admin, we'll choose the last option to select a user list by query. In the second step, we'll choose the attributes that will be displayed in our report. The next window shows the list of data regions that will be visible in the report. Next, we'll see a generated GPQL query that will be used to load the required data. We can edit the query and add a where condition to fetch all users except the admin. In the last step, we can set another name to the output file that this template generates and its output format. Now we can run the report and get a simple Excel report of all existing users excluding the admin with a header and corresponding values. Let's see how our report configuration looks like in the report view. We have a Report Details tab where we can set the report's name, its system code that can be used programmatically, and have a way to group these reports. The Bands tab contains the data structure of our report. In this example, we have an auto-generated header band and a user's data band we defined earlier using the wizard. Next, we can find the template we use to generate our report from in the Templates tab. In the downloaded template, we'll see two bands. The name of these bands correspond to what we've seen in the Bands tab. We can add one more property here if we want to see active users, for example. Then prolong the band to include our new column here. We also need to make sure that the report fetches its data from the database as well in the Bands tab. With our new template uploaded and band modified, we can run our report again. As we can see, now we have a new column. If we want to change the Boolean values to an informative word, we can go to the value formats in our report section, type the band field we want to change, and either use a default formatting pattern or a custom Groovy script. We'll use a ternary operator to return new or old instead. Perfect. Now let's see how to make our template more presentable so it looks as in the following screenshot. We'll modify our template using basic Excel instruments like adding color, changing fonts, and text size. To work with static data in our template, we have to include these changes to the header band like so. Once again, we'll save our changes, upload the modified template, and run the report. Great! Besides showing existing data, our report can also have a calculated field. For example, let's add a user count. We'll do this by adding a new band where the count will be displayed and use Groovy to configure the calculation. The script notes provide tips on the syntax. We'll use the data manager bean to fetch the data and write a script to count the users excluding the admin. Then switch to the template and add the calculation row to the band. And we're all done. Now we have a fully functional report ready to be used. Let's improve our report with a master detail table of our department and user entities. This table has to show the name of the department and users of this department as its details. This time, we'll add named regions manually. We'll create the columns we need, add the required placeholders, and how they will be displayed. To align the layout created here with the report bands, we will name the rows in the Excel table. Now we must add the bands and name them accordingly. We'll add the header and the department's bands where department names will be shown. To load users under each department, we need to create a child band under departments. The child band should load users whose department is equal to its parent band using the following expression. What if we wanted to create a report in a doc or PDF format? We can use the wizard, choose the user entity, doc format as our template, and choose the single entity report type. Next, choose the data that will be shown in the report. For demonstration purposes, we'll add an image. To correctly display images, choose the Image Field Formatting option in the Value Formats tab, and type its width and height. This time, we'll pick a predefined report template. We can choose to format the output file's name using its band fields. When we'll run the report, it will ask us to choose the entity we want to display as input parameter. End users can use the Run Report button to generate the report without modification permissions. If this is not enough, we can create a custom button for easier access. Let's see how to implement this button in our user's view. We'll return to the report's details, check the system mark, and set the required roles and views. Now we can switch back to the IDE and add an action to run the list of entity report, and create a button component with the added action. In just a couple of steps, we created our report generation button. As we can see, it works as intended. We can also preview the user card we created inside the application in the document section as well. To manage the report creation programmatically, we'll add a report code and switch back to the IDE. We'll create a button in the user view that will generate a report and put the file reference inside a created document instance at runtime. In the onClick handle, we'll get the selected user from the data grid. We'll use the code snippet button to generate the report creation code, provide its report code, then change its parameter to the selected user. We'll create a document entity and associate it with the user. The code snippet also has everything needed to save the report file as an input stream array in the file storage. Finally, we'll set the document's file reference and save the document's instance. We see that we've successfully created a new document with its corresponding report file. Now, we want to display the saved file in the document detail view. For that, we'll need the REST API add-on to fetch the file and display it through an iframe. We'll move on to the document detail view and add an iframe component. In the controller, we'll inject the created component and generate an onReady event handler. This handler will get the current document, retrieve its file reference, and set the iframe source to display the document using the file reference URL. After rerunning the application, we'll see the file displayed in our document detail view. This way, we've created two types of reports as admins and seen how to integrate them into the end user's application. Moreover, you can check out our documentation for extra implementation use cases such as cross-tab reports, using diagrams and formulas, accessing reports via REST API, etc. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments or check out our social media and additional materials. Links in the description below. Thank you for watching.